Good morning. This is Saturday, May the 11th, 2019. And yes, we are still reading from Biscaya, Born for Love. And this time, today, we are actually going to be starting with a new segment, which is called The Notion That There Might Be a Better or More Convenient Time to Love has cost many people a lifetime of regret. So that's what our next segment is going to be all about. So without further ado, I will go ahead and start with the very first one, which is called The Face of Love. If you are always concerned that you won't have the right words, you can still take heart. Psychologist Albert Herberheim tells us that communication is 7% verbal, 38% vocal, and 55% facial. The words we use, he suggests, say less than our facial expressions. I vividly recall learning to read my patients' faces when I was growing up. For survival's sake, Papa had a certain smile that would ripen into a glow of satisfaction that was impossible to misinterpret. A wrinkled brow and lowered eyelids told us unmistakably to beware. Mama had a way of rolling her eyes upward and shaking her head from side to side that told us it was definitely time to be quiet. They, of course, also had a wonderful way of showing their love, which I can still see when I recall their faces. It is a good idea to give some thought to how our faces are reflecting what we are saying and thinking. I always ask friends how they are when I greet them. They often answer, fine, with a scowl. Well then, why don't you tell your face? I wonder. A quote by William Thackeray. The world is a looking glass and gives back to every man the reflection of his own face. Very interesting. I'm not sure I totally agree with what I just read, only because I've met a couple people in my life. One in particular, as an example that I might use, is that he used to tell me, in a very sad sort of way, I'm always being misunderstood because of my face. And at first I kind of laughed and I thought to myself, well, that's kind of crazy. But then I realized that he did have what one might call a sad looking face. It was just his face. There wasn't much that he could really do with the way his face appeared. I mean, I knew when he smiled, but then I knew him very well. But when he smiled, other people just might think that he was mad or pissed off. And that was just because of his face and the way he looked. And to me, it was obvious that that's just the way it was. So therefore, I think sometimes people can read, shall we say, facial expressions incorrectly if they're not truly familiar with the person that they're talking to. Now, I would agree with what I just read in that if it's someone you've known for many years, yes, you probably can learn how to read their face and certain things that go on. But in the case of strangers, sometimes the way one looks is not exactly what's going on the inside. Of course, I could get a lot of different opinions on that, but that's my take on what I just read. True, and yet could maybe not be true. Okay, the next one I'm going to read is kind of really short. It's called A Gift of Love. Love is always bestowed as a gift, freely, willingly, and without expectation. It is often, even when not acknowledged or appreciated. We don't love to be loved. We love to love. A quote by Rudin Tagore says, "He who wants to do good knocks at the gate. He who loves finds the gate open." I do like that one. But like I said, that one was sweet and short, to the point, and I think it said it very clearly. Some of what I read is probably very obvious to most, and maybe to some not. Okay, the next one I'm going to read is called On Educating for Love. I recently heard a educator, expounding on the ills of education. He was directing his remarks to young adults and their challenge to meet the demands of tomorrow. What he said made sense, but it left, somebody has popped in. And who might that be? Is it a Sandy? Not sure what I'm seeing, but it is very pretty. Ah, moving around. I see a dog. Holy cow, there is a dog. Scratching his nose. Yep, I'm pretty sure it's a Sandy.
Put my name in right now.
Ah, now I can hear the Sandy.
Oh, the tab was awful. It just doesn't want to do what I want it to do.
Well, I can hear you okay.
Okay, there's my name. Now I know who I am.
And what's the dog's name who's scratching his nose? Or
That's Essie. She's she's a mix. We have no idea what she is. Like some kind of a spaniel or terrier. I don't know.
oh,
We have no idea. She's pretty big.
he's a nice looking dog, I'll say that much.
She's licking herself to death over there. Okay,
Ah, I see your name.
here I am. Okay. Any word from Reverend Dave? Any word from Reverend Dave?
Uh, actually, no. But I think it was the one I got yesterday that said that he was going to be able to put on something on his foot that he could take off at night.
Yes.
Uh, but I don't know if was going to be able to walk on it quite yet. But he still thinks he's going to get out on the 31st, so I know that he's definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely fabulous.
Well, anyway, I will continue where I left off. We just started one that's called On Educating for Love. I recently heard a professional educator, expounding on the ills of education. He was directing his remarks to young adults and their challenge to meet the demands of tomorrow. What he said made sense, but it left an incomplete picture and left me feeling frustrated and sad. He said that knowledge was doubling every 3 years and that educators were unable to cope with the challenge. Regretfully, Hugh admitted, saying that tomorrow's adults, more than ever, will need to learn how to be loving human beings. He said nothing about the need to cultivate sensitivity, responsibility, commitment to other people and to our environment. It seems to me that if our knowledge becomes dated so quickly, much of it must be transitory. Perhaps we should be telling our children that not all knowledge becomes obsolete overnight, that there are truths that transcend our books and challenging beliefs. And surely teaching about the latest technology or how to be successful do not preclude also teaching a sense of goodness, gentleness, giving, caring, spirituality, and love. These alone remain our fixed truths, essential for human survival. as well as a technical success, even in today's fast-changing world. And the quote is by Charles A. Lindbergh. Let us not be a generation recorded in future historians as destroying the irreplaceable inheritance of life formed through eons of past. Interesting.
Said that a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a long time ago.
Learned about it then. Imagine how bad it's become.
But then that's why I like the Bible, because it's a long, long time ago, but it's still valuable today. Of course, there's some that may not think so, but it is. Must have drank something this morning that didn't go down as well as I thought it was going to, because it's one of these burpee mornings. Which I guess I shouldn't complain, right?
No, I guess not. Got food to eat, right?
Anyway, the next one is called Love's Insurance. I heard a story about a wife who was determined to get back at her neglectful mate. She felt ignored, wronged, and betrayed. Since it wasn't in her nature to act out of verbalizing her frustration in spiteful, vicious ways, she decided to shower her husband with affection and compliments, kill him with kindness and love. Her plan had surprising effects. It soon became apparent that the marriage took on a different aura. As a result of her new and unexpected expressions of caring, her husband began to reciprocate in kind. They suddenly discovered something which had been missing in their relationship: the continual assurance of love. Love is always made more manifest through continual demonstrations. And the quote is by Lao Tuz. Kindness in words creates confidence. Kindness in thinking creates profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. I like that quote.
Hello.
That's a good quote. Well, look who popped in.
Hello, Robert. Hello, Cindy.
There, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Good. Better?
You looking
Doing good.
You looking good.
Feel pretty good. Just trying to keep it between the lines.
So you get one of these funny looking boots to put on for a while?
Eventually, yeah, after a couple more weeks.
Oh, a couple more weeks.
Yep. 2 weeks from Wednesday, 1 week from this coming Wednesday, I'll get a boot. And then I can start therapy.
So then will you have in-house therapy, or will you go to where you have outside therapy, where you...
No, I'll still have in-house therapy. They'll want to make sure I can walk before I can get released.
Okay.
I may have to use a walker for a while. I'm not sure, but we'll play it by ear and see what happens.
So you still hope to be out of there by the 31st?
Yep.
Well, that'll be cool.
Yep.
I-
Hope to be.
Yeah, because I know you say 2 weeks. Today's the 11th, so you apparently aren't going to be on the walking therapy too long.
No, not too long. Maybe about a week and a half.
Okay.
So we'll wait and see. But what I said to the doctor, I said I'd like to be home by Memorial Day. He said I don't see why not. I said okay.
Well, that's looking good. The tunnel of the light is getting closer.
It's there. It's right there. So,
I can see it just makes you happy to be able to think you're going to get out of there soon.
yep. Be glad to get out of here and start my weight loss regimen again with Organifi and stuff like that. So I've got that Organifi Pure waiting for me. I haven't gotten it yet, so it's a mild brain and energy supplement. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works with me and go from that. So,
Well, I'll have to. I did another video thing, because I'm, learning how to do all this fancy stuff.
mm-hmm.
And so I'll have to put it in chat so you can take a look at it. I think you'll find it really fun to watch.
Okay.
I'll do that real quick so I don't forget it. Because if I don't do it while I'm
Miss Sandy, how are you?
I'm doing good.
How's the weather in North Carolina?
And today it's rainy. A lot of people are complaining because they were doing yard sales, or they were like one friend has a business and she was going to do a table.
Mm-hmm.
They canceled it because there's 100% chance of rain. It doesn't rain yet, but it's still going to go.
Okay. That's a bummer.
Give me just.
Hey, I wanted to invite you both to my call tonight. I sent out an email and hope we can both make it at 7 p.m. Eastern. That'll be 4 o'clock your time, Robert.
4 o'clock? Okay. I'll try to make that.
You can't make it, Sandy?
No.
Okay. We'll miss you.
Yeah. Hoping I'm home.
But hopefully if I say anything important, I'll record it and get it out to the good people.
Okay. I put it in chat, so you should be able to see it.
I do.
I got to copy it. Sticky note on it.
Yeah, I think I gave it to you yesterday, Sandy.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
But if you want, you can copy it again if you want.
That's the link you sent me. Okay.
I'm just double checking here before we go any further to make sure it's on the right one.
I copied that one.
Yeah. Yep. It's on the right one.
Okay, well, I got to go. I got a competing call, so I got to go to that one too. So, but I wanted to drop in and say hi.
See you soon. You look good, Reverend Dave.
Take care. God bless everybody.
All right. Well, God bless. I'm glad you dropped in, even if it was just
Me too.
for a short moment.
Yep. Enjoyed the reading, Robert.
All right. We having fun, I'll tell you.
That's good. All right. God bless you guys.
All right. God bless. All right. Well, I'll go on and start again on the one I was going to read. The next one is called Gentleness and Love. Thomas Aquarius, who knew a great deal about gentleness, once said that when you want to convert someone to your view, go over to them, take them by the hand, and guide them. You don't stand at a distance and shout at them. You don't call them names or demand that they come to where you are. You must start from where they are. That's the best way, he assures us, to get them to rethink their viewpoint and perhaps change their position. While this is true that most people respect strength, they don't always associate it with gentleness. But it is always from strength that gentleness arises. It is always from strength that we learn not to condemn weakness or fear our anger. Strength encourages us to empathize, to be more adaptable and make allowances. If we really wish to bring someone into our hearts and minds, a little gentleness is a powerful attraction. And the quote is by a Chinese proverb, and he says, "Do not use a hatchet to remove a fly from your friend's forehead." Okay. Silly, ridiculous, but probably true. Well, that was good. Reverend Dave popped in, and I got to say one thing. Every time he pops in, I think to myself, he's really looking good. You know, he's just, yeah, healthy and happy and hopeful. And he's looking down that lighted tunnel to the 31st, hoping he's going to be out of there. And with God's grace and will, he will be. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and move on here. The next one is called yielding. Prior to entering into a relationship, it is well to ask ourselves how much we are willing to compromise. If we feel completely integrated as individuals, unwilling to adjust, perhaps we'd avoid a great deal of unhappiness by going it alone. I have never understood the value of proving our brilliance if we wound the one we love. Why is it so important that we are unwavering in our beliefs if they continually threaten the relationships we value? It is so necessary to always be right if it continually causes resentment and ill will. Of course, there should be some limitations to our flexibility and willingness to compromise. But we are rarely asked to give up what is truly essential about ourselves. A little consideration is mainly what most people need from us. This amounts to knowing when to act or not act, when to speak our mind or be silent, when to give in and when to stand firm, when to set our limits or extend them. We're wise in love when we have achieved a balance between our willingness to yield and the knowledge of how far to go before we are harming ourselves and others in the process. A quote by Al McGuire: winning is overemphasized. The only time it is really important is in surgery and war. Okay, I would agree with that. It's interesting today, my sinuses don't seem to be bothering me as much, but my nose is just driving me crazy because it's doing itchy, 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 itchy. Do you think if I quit complaining about it, it would go away? Probably.
In regard to what you just read, I heard a quote years ago from somebody, and it said, "Some people would rather be right than be married."
How very true. How very true. Yeah, and I know, and again, I never mention names, but I know a few people that would fit that category perfectly. In that, and I can't help but wonder to myself for what reason, because it makes no sense to me. But from their point of view, I guess that being right is how should I say that? Being right is an absolute, but it's not absolutely true. Some of these in this particular section have really been short. Okay, I'll go ahead and read the next one. Next two are short, so. The title of the next one is The Environment of Love. If we are wise, we strive to create our loving environment. We are content where passion does not overshadow fondness, where physical needs are no more important than emotional needs. Differences are celebrated here, not just tolerated, and respect grows instead of being allowed to erode. This is a place where there is real sharing rather than indifference. This loving environment encourages when nothing else does and nourishes like nothing else can. The quote by Rene Dubas: man shapes himself through decisions that shape his environment. Again, very true. Yeah, I tried to cancel my TrueBox.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and this third time they've got me. I thought it was canceled, and lo and behold, it went through. I wasn't sure what went through, but I ordered some Vingo, which I don't mind, ordering it because I drink it and I use it. But because for lack of a better way of saying it, not following the directions I'm trying to give them, right? I got charged again, $10 for shipping.
Oh.
I said, for crying out loud, I ought to send them a letter and say, look, I'm getting screwed. I want a free case of Ingo because I've already paid it with your damn shipping.
Yeah. It's just under the price that free shipping comes in. So why the heck don't they just lower the shipping rate? You know, make it $45 instead of 50.
Yeah, that would make more sense to me because it's frustrating to spend $44.65 or something like that and then top it off with $10 for shipping when I can order a $10 item and I get it free.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to get this auto ship straightened out and I can't seem to do it. I'm getting to the point where I'm just I know you get a few more points, but I want to just discontinue this auto ship thing completely and just order each month. Because sometimes, like in this case, it catches me off guard.
Yep.
It takes money out of my account that I wasn't expecting because I thought I had canceled it, but it didn't get canceled because I can't seem to make it work.
Yeah,
And then I say, oh, well.
I'm having a lot of trouble with the ordering. An order number comes up, and then when I go to complete the order, it says, this order does not qualify for this order number. What?
Yeah, it just gets, confusing.
Not very confusing.
And the sad part is I like the company, I like the owner, I like what's going on and so on. So I guess it boils down right now for me with my, PWA partner with Anthony. I'm making money over there, so I'll spend it over here. So I guess it works out okay, and I'm not going to worry about it. Come on, Rascal. I know you want to get up here and say hi.
Oh.
Yeah, she's just going to bug me till you get up here and say hi. So get up there and say, hi, Sandy.
Hey, Rascal. Good doggy.
Say, hi, Sandy. I know you can't hear her, but she can see you.
I can see you. They're very cute.
Of course, this little turd is spoiled rotten.
I can imagine.
Are you spoiled rotten? Don't answer that.
Taking it all in his stride.
I couldn't live without him. All right, the next one, we'll move on here. And this one's called Love and Freedom. I like the sound of it already. Adjust my glasses so I can see here. Freedom entails choice, responsibility, and commitment, and as such, doesn't come free. It always demands a price. We cannot love without relinquishing something in the process. Some people say or may see this as a form of enslavement and abandoning of freedom. But when we love, we do so with personal commitment. VOLITIONALLY.
VOLIT.
I can't pronounce it.
Oh, no. Sounds like
I'm sorry, what was that?
a politician with a B.
Yeah, it's VOLIT, Volit.
Volition. That means your own will. Which is a D. It's D. Okay.
I guess it's a word that means you're voluntarily volunteering.
It means your own will.
Your own will, okay. Anyway, we do so with personal commitment and volunteering. When we give of ourselves, we are freed from the prison of self-absorption. So the more we give, the freer we become. I got through it and it made sense. And a quote is by Albert Camus. Freedom is nothing else but a chance to be better. Well, I like the quote better than what I read. The quote seemed to make more sense. And that's the end of that segment. So we'll move on to the next segment, which is called, It is when we ask for love less and begin giving it more that the secret of human love is revealed to us. That in itself says a lot. So without further ado, we'll start on the first one. It's called Fear of Loving. One of the greatest deterrents to love is fear. At times, it makes cowards of us all. It causes us to take the safe path, to slink from commitment, to hide from ourselves and others. There, in our haven of safety, we isolate ourselves from the very things that give life joy and meaning. Confronting our fears does not mean retreating from involvement any more than it means developing a tough exterior to be impervious to pain. Allowing fear to determine the course of our lives is to listen to only one of our inner voices. Other voices also deserve to be heard. One of them is saying that the worst fear we face is a life of love. Where love exists strongly enough, apprehension, disappointment, and fear are reduced to nothing. And a quote by Marion Curry, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. And I have to say, I like that one a lot because unfortunately, in this day and age, and it seems like a lot of it is with younger people. I don't know why, but they do. They let fear control their lives, and it's just so ridiculous. You know?
Yep. Most of them are not confident enough to do much of anything. They act very confident, cocky, but most of them are scared to death of life.
Yeah. Well, I guess part of it, I'm sure, has to be from the training we get as we grow up, you know. Obviously, if you have bad parents that put you down all the time, then fear of just making a mistake can be so great that you just, you know, as they say, you want to hide in a closet.
Yeah.
And there again, I think it is sad, in my mind, mainly because, you know, I see on TV and other places on the internet that suicide for younger people in, you know, the last few years has gotten extremely high. And sometimes I can't help but think to myself, that these poor young kids who commit suicide, in which case many times it may have been because of fear, right?
Yes, a lot of it's bullying. Because of bullying.
Yeah. And yet they take the greatest fear of all kind, suicide. I would think that should be the greatest fear of all, right?
Yeah,
And they commit suicide. And that just boggles my mind. I just can't quite understand that.
yeah.
But that's the way it is. I guess it's just, I think partly it is education and how you're brought up, you know. Uh, in some cases, it has nothing to do with the way you're brought up. It has something to do with the individual themselves. But fear accomplishes nothing. Of course, the one I always use is correctly or incorrect, I don't know, but I always say uh, fear is, it's just fear is just the way it is. It's there, and you know, fear not. These things must come to pass, no matter what it is. Whether it's stubbing your toe or falling in love, it doesn't make any difference. These things will come to pass, and you just have to ignore it and move on. But oh well. Well, I think I got to watch the old clock all the time.
Oh, yeah. They are.
We got enough time. I'm going to read one more, and then we'll probably be out of here until Tuesday. But here we go. One more to go. Are you ready?
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Okay. This one is called Don't Make Today's Judgments Based upon Yesterday's Memories. There is little doubt that we are largely products of our memories. Without our being fully aware of it, past experiences have a way of wavering themselves into an ever expanding web of entrapment, ensnaring our present view of life. Before we are, we were. So new ideas are filtered through past beliefs. When we attempt to establish what it is we are bogged down by, what was. But there is no hope. No one is permanently programmed. We all have the ability to assimilate new experiences. But to do so, we must battle our memories and lessen their power. Unless we want our future to be nothing more than a rehash of our past. We must be aware of the power of the past to affect our behavior. Only then can we be free to create our future. The quote down below is by John Irving. Our memory is a monster. You forget it doesn't, it simply flies through things away. It keeps things for you or hides things from you and summons to your recall with a will of its own. You think you have a memory, but it has you. Olito, Lito, Bandito. Well, thank you. It says meeting alert. here's a gift for you. We have removed the 40-minute time limit on your first group meeting. This is not my first, dude.
Oh, well.
And it says, yeah, it says, love it. Thank you. Well, I like that last one. That was tied my mouth up a little bit, but I did understand it. So I'll put the old marker in the book. And I think there's a good chance that by the end of this month, we're going to be done with this book. Possibly a little bit sooner. I don't know. But anyway, we'll come back on Tuesday and start all over again and do it again and have a high old time. And by then I'll have my Vinco, because they probably will ship it today. And I'll probably get it on Monday or Tuesday, I would think. So anyway.
You have a good weekend. And
yeah. And you have a good weekend, and God bless. And
send a nasty gram to support about your shoebox.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Send a nasty gram to support about your shoebox.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely write a support ticket, and then Monday I might even call down there and say, you know, there's something got to be done. I like the program, I like the people, you know, but this is the third time I've got hit, and it's extremely frustrating, and I need to learn or be shown how to do this correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you get tired of just basically making the same mistake over and over and over again.
They were going to do away with shoebox. I wonder what happened.
Well, and that's what I thought there for a while. They were going to do away with it. And I thought, like I said, I thought I'd taken it out. I deleted it. I did this. I did that. I thought it was all done. And I still got billed for my True Box order, which I was, in theory, didn't have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to send them a support ticket, and then I'll probably give them a call Monday morning or Tuesday morning.
Good.
And talk to them and say, hey, guys, you know, you got to do something about this, because I'm not the only one. There's a lot of us out here that are getting frustrated because, well, and especially people like us who are on a fixed income.
Yeah.
You know, I have X number of dollars in the bank, and I have X number of bills. Like I was telling a friend of mine, I said, you know, I get 1,000, I spend 900 to pay all my bills. I got $100 bucks.
Yeah.
And that's to run my business. And if you whack me for 60 right off the bat, then that leaves me 40, and then I have a hard time trying to cover what's left. Now, the only good thing at this point in time is the fact that, and this is not an advertisement, but I'm just saying with the PWA, I've been earning some money, and that's starting to come in. And so that kind of offsets, gives me the money that I need to make up for what I lost. But I didn't really lose it because I got my Vinco, but I want to be in control of what's going on, not them be in control. But anyway, you have a good weekend.
You too. God bless you, Rob. And I'll talk to you Tuesday.
All right. God bless you. And we'll see you probably on Tuesday.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.